Welcome to your total body strength and conditioning session for the ovulatory phase. This is that time where we're approaching mid-cycle. We see estrogen on the rise, and around ovulation, we also see that slight boost in testosterone. So there could be a few things happening. You might be feeling that surge of energy, of arousal in body and mind as energy and enthusiasm for your workouts. You might also be hitting that arousal with a little bit of overwhelm or even a trend toward anxiety. Maybe you're starting to hit a wall during your workouts. All of these experiences are valid in this transition time from low to high hormones. So in today's workout, it's at the end of our ovulatory phase roadmap, that week in the calendar. So I really want you to tune in to what is true for you today, not what you should feel like in the ovulatory phase, not what you felt like last month in the ovulatory phase. I want you to really tune in to how you're feeling today. And I'll speak from experience. When I came to this workout, I was planning to keep the same weight from week one, but I showed up to my mat. I'm feeling a little bit on the low energy side, and just that heaviness, that little bit of lethargy that maybe wasn't there yesterday or the week prior. So a couple of options for today's workout. If you are in glow mode, you're feeling ready, you're well fed, you're ready to go, I want you to keep the same weight that you had from week one and add in that element of power, of speed, of pace in the continuous work. If, like me, you were kind of feeling that draw toward luteal phase vibes, I want you to slow things down, even go down in weight. Maybe you're going down in weight and allowing yourself to pick up the pace. There's so many ways that you can approach this workout. It is continuous work during our working phase from start to finish. So we've got back-to-back intervals today, and we're also adding a third set to the workout from week one. So we have 40 seconds in each of 3 exercises before a 20-second rest interval. That 20 seconds is going to be just enough to kind of prepare you for the next round. So it's not designed to help you recover 100%. We want to keep that intensity pretty high and continuous throughout each phase of work. So we have our 3 sets of work, 3 exercises in each one, and we're completing each one 3 times. You'll have a slightly longer recovery interval between sets of work just to help you change. If you want to change your weights, you can. I'd recommend sticking with one set of dumbbells and staying with that throughout the entire workout. You want it to be challenging enough for the lower body, but manageable for the upper body. So we are kind of selecting the upper body exercises strategically so that we can go a little bit heavier. We can switch to single-sided work so that we still have enough weight to challenge the legs in this total body workout. I've included a workout preview in the video description below. I encourage you, please, to watch this. You can speed up the playback so that it doesn't take you long to watch, but it will give you lots of variations for these different exercises. So if you're someone who maybe experiences lower back pain or you have sensitivity in the knees, there's lots of ways to modify these different exercises to still get all the great work done without compromising your body. So all of those options available in the separate workout preview linked below. You'll have a 5-minute warm-up, a 5-minute cool down. This one is designed to be a workout quickie, so there's no finishers, nothing extra. It's just that solid strength and conditioning work for right around 22 minutes in the center. And then when you bookend it with your warm up and cool down, we are under 35 minutes for our workout for today. So hopefully you can squeeze this into even your busiest days. And now let's get to work. Let's jump right into our total body warm-up for today. We have 10 different exercises that we'll enjoy for 30 seconds each to get your body ready for strength training. So we'll get started in about 10 seconds here. We're starting with an overhead squat. So I want you to bring your feet about shoulder width, maybe slightly wider apart. Let's inhale, take the arms overhead, press your palms toward the ceiling. And let's squat it down, big breath. And as you come up, side bend, stretch out the side waist. So inhale, come down, and exhale over to the other side. So we're just alternating here, really trying to lengthen both sides of the waist, warming up the legs, the upper body, starting to connect to your breath rhythm. So try to map your movement onto each breath. Breathe in and out. We're going to switch to our reverse lunge next with a lat pull, arms start overhead. As you exhale, lunge and hug the elbows into your sides. This can be nice and slow to start. There's no rush. We'll have a full 5 minutes to prepare the body for our strength training. So I really want you to focus here on activating the back and working on that unilateral balance in the legs. Last 3 here, 2, and 1. Stay in your lunge, bring your hands behind your head, left leg is forward. Let's exhale, take the right elbow to the left knee and come back to center. Exhale, twist, find your balance. Here, I want you to focus on fixing the position of the hips and really freeing the upper back. So you might even take the open twist at the top and then rotate. So you're trying to wrap the rib cage under. After this, we're coming into our tabletop. Let's move there now. Here, I want you to come into your cow spine. So soften the belly, inhale, gaze up. And then as you exhale, cat spine, hover the knees just a touch. Inhale, extend, drag the heels of the hands and the knees toward each other. And as you exhale, round, hover the knees off the mat. Inhale, big breath. And exhale, round in, hover the knees. Feel that core activation. Last one here. And then we'll take the right foot forward, hands behind your head, alternating twist here. So we take the left elbow to the right knee this time. And again, you can add that little bit of an open twist just to get the full range of motion in the rib cage and the upper back here. So you are toning the legs, hugging the inner thighs energetically to the center to stabilize the hips, to keep them in the same position. After this, we're transitioning to downward facing dog. We'll head that direction next. So both feet back, come into your downward dog. Then we're going to roll forward to plank, knees touch down, push up. Come back to plank, bend your knees, launch position, come forward, optional knees up or knees down, and back. So we're just alternating between this launch position and a push up. Waking up the chest, the spine here. Last one. And then we'll take the right leg forward, come into your spider lunge. So nice deep lunge. We're just going to circle that right arm back and then take the elbow to the inner edge of your right foot. So open the shoulder and then come back down. Again, here we are fixing the position of the hips. So we're not letting the hips twist or rotate. We're keeping that position stable. And working just a little bit more space, a little bit more freedom in the hips. After this, we're turning to our side lunge. So bend deeply into one side. We're going to reach the arms forward and then stretch it back. So we're just alternating here from one side to the other, broadening across the chest and then squeezing the thumbs toward each other. So imagine like a chest press here. Inhale and exhale. In about 5 seconds, we'll switch to our lunge on the left side now. So turn over your left foot, come into that spider lunge, open the left arm up, nice big circle, and then take that left elbow to the left heel. So we open it up, full range of motion in the shoulder here, and come back down. Should be feeling some generous heat now, waking up the body, getting ready for your strength training session. Last one here. Then we're going to step the feet together, come into your ball pose squat. So lift the heels, stretch the soles of the feet, and then very gently fold. So your legs might move in the direction of straight, but you can keep as much of a bend as you need for right now in the beginning of your practice. You want to lift up through the chest and then exhale, fold. Breathe in and out. Feel the legs waking up here. So from head to toe, nice and warm. Let's stay in this forward bend and very slowly roll up bone by bone, taking your time if you need to. Before you come all the way up to stand, we'll enjoy a huge breath in. Sigh it out, exhale. That is your total body warm-up for today, and now you're ready to get into your strength training. We are going to jump right into this total body session for today. This one is a workout quickie, no finishers, nothing extra. We're just here for that solid 30 to 35 minute window of our total body session. We are treating this as a mini progression from the follicular phase, where we're taking on most of the same movement patterns, but we're adding a bit of pace and power. So we're turning up the intensity by moving more quickly, and we're adding a set to each part of the workout. With that being said, rather than keeping the same weight that you might have used in the first week of your cycle, I'm going to drop down just a little bit so that the weight is sustainable at this higher speed, this higher pace. So we're wanting to generate power. We don't want to risk injury. So I recommend dropping down just a little bit so that you can move very quickly and you can maintain your form throughout. We have 40-second back-to-back intervals. So each part of the workout has 3 different exercises. You're going to complete them back-to-back. So each one for 40 seconds before you have your recovery interval. It's a quick recovery. So each part of this workout will be pretty continuous work from start to finish. And then you'll have additional recovery in between. So I will get our timer started here. We will have about 20 seconds to set up for our first movement pattern. We're coming into tabletop or bear plank. You could even be in plank if you want to be in a full renegade row. We're simply going to bring the elbow straight back to the hip and back down. Your goal here is to keep the hips and shoulders in the same plane the entire way through. Let's begin in 3, 2, 1. Hover the knees if you wish, pull it back and down. I want you to really connect to the low belly. So you're drawing the navel into spine, hugging the pubic bone up toward the belly button, and keeping that stabilization force. So we are resisting rotation here. That's where the core activation comes from. So we're here for just 40 seconds. Then we're going to drop to a single dumbbell, come into our kneeling position for a hip thrust to a tricep extension. So get ready for that. We're moving in 3, 2, 1. Grab your single weight, place it on your back. We're coming down, thrusting the hips up and extending the arms. So we come down, aim the elbows toward the floor and lift. Again, you may have seen in the preview, if this is too much for your knees, you can always be in the kneel to stand and then take your tricep extension up high. Otherwise, you're in the kneeling hip thrust and extending the arms. We're here for just about 10 more seconds. Then we're going to come into our curl to a front press. So we'll bring the weight down in front in 3, 2, 1. Bring that weight down in front of you, curl it up, press it forward, back and down. So squeeze the biceps, keep hugging the heads of that dumbbell as you come through the front press and release. Here, I want you to avoid leaning back. Keep that spine straight and strong the entire way. That is going to recruit a lot of core stabilization. You should feel that happening in the belly and the spine. Try to keep the tops of your feet anchored to the mat behind you so you have that counterbalance. 2 and 1. We've got 20 seconds to recover here, and then we're coming right back in to our second set. We have just 2 more sets of these, so you can shake it out, really connect with your breath, try to slow it down with those longer exhales. We're moving in 5. Come into position, and let's begin. Stay strong. You can slow things down. I know for me, I'm kind of right at that inflection point in the cycle where I'm starting to feel a little bit of that change in energy, where body's shifting to carb sparing mode. I don't quite have that quick burst energy that was available in the follicular phase. So in this last workout of my ovulatory phase roadmap, I'm slowing things down, drop down in weight a little bit, and that's okay. If you are still in glow mode, you want to power it up, you are moving quickly, you're adding that power and pace. I want you to take these transition phases for however they land for you. So your lived experience is the most reliable indicator of what's going on and how you need to adapt your workouts. So the old version of me would have just pushed through. I would have said, it's my ovulatory phase. I'm going to lift heavy no matter what. The more embodied version is saying, I feel tired, or let's switch, or I want to keep this sustainable. I want to still be able to move tomorrow. I don't want to be so sore or so drained that I don't have energy left for the rest of my day. So it's this shift from burning mentality where we're constantly trying to shrink ourselves skinny. Instead, we're in building mode. We want to build our energy reserves. We want to build beautiful muscle and strength. It's an important mindset shift that allows you to make decisions that keep the practice sustainable. And rest, 20 seconds, and one final round coming up next. So again, if you're hitting this workout, you feel like you're on fire, you're staying with the heavy weight, you're moving quickly. If you're like me, you're starting to feel that invitation to the luteal phase. So you're slowing things down, maybe dropping down the weight. Let's begin. Here we go. I used to love renegade rows for a long time in full plank until I discovered bear plank, and it was like a light bulb went off. All of a sudden, I could get all of the same core activation, that same strength for full body without the risk of straining my lower back. So hopefully you're enjoying the bear plank version as well. If you're in full plank, stay with it. Just focus on that form and core activation. We switch to a single dumbbell. Here we go. Elbows toward the knees. Come up, straighten the arms. As you straighten those arms overhead, make sure they're staying parallel, that you're not letting the elbows wing out or collapse in. You're keeping them in those parallel lines. At the same time, you want to make sure you're allowing the shoulders to relax, down away from the ears. We've got 10 more seconds here. Then we're switching to our curl to front press for one last exercise of this set. Let's come down. So I have developed a shorter cycle as I entered my late 30s and now early 40s. And with that shorter cycle, it means that I'm entering the ovulatory phase closer to day 9, day 8 or 9. I start to feel that surge of estrogen coming on. It means that for most programming that works with your cycle, they might be telling you to have peak performance around day 14, which would be mid-cycle for a 28-day cycle. I have to shift those boundaries just a little bit, rest. And that's part of becoming your own pattern reader. So you understand where these inflection points happen, when the phase changes are happening, so that you can make the adjustments that are right for you. So we have completed our first set. We have one more rest interval, just 40 seconds here to kind of get back into position, get ready to go. And we're starting with a dumbbell deadlift. This one, you're going to sit nice and low, bow the spine forward, heart, belly, chest to the thighs, and come up. I want you to tilt the weights so that you're tracking the center line of the leg to the center of the foot, all the way down, all the way up. Then we've got a front squat and then a strict press. So we're going to come into position, grab your weight. Let's roll the shoulders down the back and get ready to move in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Take it down and up. This one, again, should be very light for this movement pattern. These are the largest muscle group in the glutes. The hips are powerful, and we're using that lighter load. That means you're picking up the pace, even just a little bit here. We take it down, drive the heels up. Make sure you're not thrusting the hips forward, that you're coming just to that neutral position in the pelvis. We're here for 10 more seconds, and then we're switching to our front squat. Right into it in 3, 2, and 1. Take that weight up to the front hold. We squat it down and up. I want your knees to track over the second and third toes. Chest and spine stay lifted. Lower back is neutral. Key points of alignment here that keep that good work in the legs. We don't want it in the lower back. Take it down and up. Sit back and drive through the heels. We're here for just about 5 more seconds, and then we'll come into that push press or strict press if you have lighter weights. So weights at the shoulders, tiny bend, big push. And then we catch that weight and move straight back up. This is continuous movement down and up. If the weight is lighter for you, you can be in the strict press. You can take that little push out and focus just on the press. This one is the high energy demand, high intensity for this middle set of work. Stay with it. And rest. 20 seconds on the clock. Then we're coming back to our dumbbell deadlift. So you're going to shake it out, take a few deep breaths. We have 2 more sets of this work. Let's come into position. 3, 2, and 1. Take it down and up. So again, you're aiming the head of the dumbbells to the center line of the outer edge of your foot. So the dumbbells move straight up, straight down, and we make that happen by hinging at the hips. Back of the neck stays nice and long. You've got this. Breathe. Nice deep bend. We want to get the thighs close to parallel if you can. Parallel to the ground at the bottom. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Front squat, straight into it. Down and up. These back-to-back intervals. Build the intensity. We build the stamina. But I want you to be mindful of the exertion. Where are you digging a little deeper to find your edge? And when are you exercising an override? We want to stay in something sustainable. So really listen for those signals from your body and know that they can change from one set to the next, from one exercise to the next, and rest. Not rest, right into the next one. Should have said change. Our rest is coming after this exercise. And there's a lot of habituation in the way that I teach and the way that I train. We develop that muscle memory, and I'm just used to saying rest when the timer goes off. So it involves and requires checking in, staying present, so that we don't just resort to autopilot, so that we're always paying attention. We're always present and making those changes in the moment. So I want you to observe in this next set, where are you moving from muscle memory and habit, and where can you check in a little bit more? Where can you dial in your form, activate the core, really work on your mechanics so that this practice is sustainable and it's one that invites presence. You're not checking out. You're not just going through the motions. You are in it. Every rep is your next best rep. We do this by paying attention to the breath, by paying attention to sensations in the body. Where do you feel this load in your feet? How can you take any strain out of the lower back by lifting those hip points up toward the low ribs, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Front squat is next. Let's bring it into position and begin. Take it down and up. If you start to feel your spine collapsing forward, or you maybe feel that excess arch in the lower back, you can always decrease your range of motion. Keep it a little higher to keep it in the legs. Today, feeling this in the inner thighs of all places. I think because of the way I'm consciously loading the feet. So driving through those heels. We've got 5 more seconds and then the push press. Come into position and big push. Down and push. You got this. Find those quality reps from start to finish. You have a longer recovery interval coming, a full minute before we start our third and final set of work. This is a workout quickie where we are wanting to knock this volume out as quickly as possible so that you can still squeeze it in to even your busiest days. And rest. Take it down. Shake it out. You've got a minute to recover. So I want you to have a suite of workouts in your toolbox for the days where you don't think you can make it work and you still find a way to squeeze it in to get the work done. So 40 seconds left of this recovery interval. Then we're coming into our split squat with either a hammer curl or an upright row. So we're here or we're here. We're pairing that with a wood chop. So the wood chop, you step back just a staggered stance, come to your back hip and reach it overhead with some power. Alternatively, you can come right to the chest if taking it overhead is too much. So we're going to come into position. We've got 10 more seconds. Then we're starting with that split squat, 2, and a hammer curl. Let's get ready. 2 and 1. Just take note of the leg that is in front. Make sure that you switch the next time around. Depending on your weights here, you might be alternating the upper body movement pattern or moving both together. If you're super heavy, you might be switching one side to the other. Or if you're like me, even with the lighter weight today, feeling that shift in my energy. So taking it slow, one side at a time. We're going to switch, drop a dumbbell, and come into that staggered stance wood chop, alternating sides. Let's get ready. And we step it back, take the dumbbell to that side, and sweep it up. I want you to feel the power from your back hip. Even though your hips are square, you're getting that slight rotation with some power. I want you to avoid swinging with the upper body, and instead, you are driving that power from the back hip. And that's where the momentum comes from to lift that weight overhead. In about 10 seconds, we're going to grab that second dumbbell. We're going to take the opposite foot forward, and we'll be in our split squat to upright row. Let's get ready. Take it down and lift it up. Again, here, I'm going to alternate sides. You want shoulders to stay open. Try not to collapse them forward. And lift. Feel that pull against gravity. Bring that weight to shoulder height and lower down. This one, definitely building intensity in that short amount of time. We're here for 5 more seconds, and then we have our recovery interval. Rest. Set that weight down. Take note of which leg you just finished on. We're going to switch it up when we start our second round. So we're starting with that split squat and a hammer curl. Grab your weight. Get into your split stance. We'll begin in 2, 1. Take it down. Squeeze the biceps. And squeeze. Keep your elbows glued to your sides. They're not splaying out. We're isolating the biceps here. Make sure your split squat is strong. 90-degree bends in both knees. Spine is nice and tall. Again, in 15 seconds, we're going to drop to a single weight and get ready for that alternating wood chop, driving from the back hip. Let's move in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're going to stagger the stance, drive through the hip. Again, you are in control on the way down and on the way up. You're not letting that weight take you. You are controlling the lift and the lowering phase. Drive from that back hip. Again, if you need it, you can always just take it straight to the chest. Keep it nice and close so you can feel that power generation from the back hip. We're going to grab our second dumbbell here in about 5 seconds. Coming into the split squat with an upright row. Grab your weight, straight into it. Split squat and pull. We are so close. We have just one more set left after this, and that is your full workout. Again, we don't have any finishers or extra bonuses today. You are putting all the work in through the main part of the workout. We've got 10 seconds left here. Breathe. Slow and steady. 3, 2, and 1. 20 seconds to recover. And then we're coming right back to that split squat with the hammer curl. Get ready. 10 seconds. Final set. Let's make it the best one yet. We move in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down and curl. You can slow this down. I want these reps to count. I want them to be solid from start to finish. So if you feel your form slipping, slow things down, reset, and come right back in. We're breathing here. We're staying in control, not letting the breathlessness create excess activation, but we counter it with that slow, steady rhythm, in and out. Dropping a weight in 3, 2, 1. Take it to the back hip and chop. So down nice and slow and up with some power. Feel that power come from the back hip. It's that rotational component. We have to pull the belly in. We don't want this in the lower back. We want it coming from deep core. Again, you're not letting that weight swing you. I felt a little bit of that happening. Felt a little bit of a check out there. So we come back in. We reconnect. Drop down and pick up your other weight. And we come into our split squat with an upright row. Final exercise. You've got just 30 seconds of work left. You can do the hard thing. Stay with me till the end. We got this. Find that rhythm. Slow and steady. For 10. See if you can even out the sides here. And rest. Set your weight down. That was 22 minutes of pretty continuous work at that higher intensity. So I want you to gather your breath, slow it down. We're going to come into a wider stance here, just nice and easy, side to side lunge. I have sort of this dynamic flow circuit that I like to move through after high intensity, just to help guide the heart rate back down. So you can stay with me here, keep your chest lifted, head above the heart. And then we're going to come up, just rotate, pivot on the back toes, side to side. Then we'll come into our goddess stance. A few deep breaths here. Inhale, reach up. Slow the breath down as you exhale. Give it some sound. Inhale and exhale. Last one like this. Big breath in and slow it down. Hopefully by now your breath is back down to normal. I'm taking a peek at mine right around 125, 130. So back down to just a slightly elevated baseline. So that tells you that you are ready to cool down. If you're still gasping for air, you're still feeling a little bit breathless, stay in that dynamic movement pattern. Maybe you're just enjoying a few goddess breaths to slow things down. And then we'll head into our cool down. I'll meet you there next. You have just put in the work and now it is time to cool down. We're going to start in a nice wide position with the feet. Just give your shoulders a bit of a shrug and we will take the arms behind, interlace your fingers, send your knuckles toward the ground, stretch across the chest. Make sure you're drawing those front ribs in. Really isolate the chest here. Take a big breath in. And only if it feels comfortable, I want you to fold over the legs. Let the head be level with the heart and hips. Really press through the outer edges of both feet. Send your knuckles skyward now. Stretch through the chest. You can release the hands here for a moment. Maybe sway the hips side to side. Then we're going to turn over that right foot. Let your back knee come down. Hands are to the inside. I want you to bring your right hand to your right thigh, press down and forward, twist the heart open. Keep the hips square to the front. If you wish, you can bring your forearm down to the mat. Find that deep lizard lunge. So nice stretch for the hip flexor, the inner hips. We'll be here just a few more seconds. And then slowly come up through center. We're just going to alternate with our side lunge here, reaching forward. So I want you to keep those arms outstretched and just slide nice and easy side to side. Feel that stretch across the inner thighs. Keep the shoulders lifted. Press the palms away. Maybe take opposite shoulders here. You can even stretch open and closed here. Then we'll turn to our lizard lunge on the left side now. So hands to the inside, pivot on the back foot, lower the back knee down. Left hand to the left thigh, press down and forward to twist the heart towards the left. And then you have the option of lowering to the forearm here. As best as you can, keep the hips square to the front. Keep pressing down and forward on your left thigh to keep twisting that left shoulder open. Last couple of breaths here. Then we'll slowly release. We'll come into one of my favorites, the puppy pose, but with dolphin arms. So bring the palms to touch, elbows about shoulder width apart, soften heart, belly, chest between the upper arms. This is a stretch you will see in almost every cool down, every workout that I do. It's so supportive for returning the spine to resting length, alleviating any residual tension. And then we'll slowly come up. I want you to take your knees to the left. I'll be opposite you in movement in this zigzag shape. And then start to turn your body over your left shin, fold over that left leg. So you can start to open it up a little bit more if that feels good. This is modified pigeon pose. So I want you to feel this in the outer left hip. You can kind of heel toe the shin more to a 90-degree bend in the knee if you wish. And just really feeling that stretch, maybe bringing the pubic bone closer to the floor. And then we'll slowly press up. Take your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind you. Nice, easy twist. I want you to keep the back knee, inner knee pressing down into the floor. So you get a little bit of that hip flexor sensation in this twist. Keep the shoulders over the hips, nice and lifted through the spine, so avoid rounding or collapsing in the upper back. And we'll slowly transition through center. So just windshield wiper the legs, switch so that your knees are to the right. You can bring that shin closer to the 90-degree bend and then fold over that right leg. Again, I want you to tilt the pelvis slightly forward, so moving the pubic bone toward the floor. Sending the pubic bone slightly back so you feel that stretch in the outer hip. Allowing your breath to slow and soften. Then we'll slowly walk it up. Bring your right hand behind, left hand to the right knee. Nice, easy twist. Again, here the key is to keep the inner knee of the back leg grounded so that you get that lengthening in the hip flexor. I want you to just really lift out of the right hip crease. So really lift the rib cage out of the pelvis here. Last couple of breaths. And then we'll slowly turn the feet to the front of your mat. Bring the heels of your hands behind you, fingers point out. I want you to lift up through the chest first, and then slowly press through the heels of the hands, find upward tabletop. So you can walk your feet out so that your ankles are under your knees. You might send the head back if that feels good, or keep the gaze straight ahead. I want you to curl the hip bone, toward the low ribs. Press through the heels of the hands to stretch the chest. Last 2 and 1. Nice and easy, lower down, shake out the arms. We'll make our way back up to standing super slow. So come through your forward bend, relax the head and neck just a moment, and then walk your hands up your legs, find that halfway lift, and then slowly all the way to stand. Let's enjoy our last breath together. Inhale and exhale, release. That completes your total body cool down for today. I hope it felt like just enough to reset your nervous system and to show your body some love. If you have extra time, you could always run through it once more, or you can stretch a little bit more on your own, whatever your body needs. But for now, this is where we part ways. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today and for letting your body be moved.